That wasn't a good thrust. That wasn't a good thrust.
It's the talk of the town.
It's time to talk with
RG Holloman, GRTV Grand Rapids, and WG Kentwood, Wyoming.
Hello, welcome to Time to Talk. I'm glad that you. Hello, welcome to Time to Talk. I'm RG Holloman. Today is Wednesday, May 25th, and we're glad that you could join us once again and hope that you are enjoying these nice sunny days that we've been having. We've waited a long time for that, and I know I certainly really like it, and I hope that you do too. Today, our guest is Miss Joanna Brown, and she is the owner and creator of Purple Blaze Catering. Miss Joanna, it's so good to have you on Time to Talk today.
I'm glad to be here, Argie. Thank you.
Okay. I met Miss Joanna at HASU at the Women's Business Networking event, and she was telling me about her business, and I thought it sounded very interesting. And Miss Joanna is going to talk to us today about her history with Ethiopian, Creole, and African American food. And food is always a favorite topic of mine. First, let's find out a little bit more about you and your history and how you got to where you are today. And so you grew up in Grand Rapids?
Yes, I did. I moved around a lot, but around Grand Rapids, but yeah, I grew up here, mainly on the southeast side, definitely.
Mm-hmm. And you have brothers and sisters, right?
Yes, I have 3 older brothers and 1 older sister, which made for a lot of beatings and poundings. Somehow I grew a little tough.
You beating them or them beating you?
A little bit of both.
A little bit, okay.
I grew tough.
Well, it makes you tough.
Yeah.
Which is good for business, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you had an Ethiopian grandfather. Tell us about him.
Well, my grandfather, he had 13 children between his past wife and my grandmother. He took care of all 13 children. He worked like odd jobs, but his main job was a principal at the school that my mother attended.
Where was that?
That was in Duck Hill, Mississippi.
Okay.
Yep. They met in Grenada, Mississippi, and married in Duck Hill.
All right. So that's where some of your southern roots come in too.
Yes, ma'am.
And then your grandmother was Creole?
Yes, she is Creole. Originally from the Louisiana area, but migrated to Grenada after, I think she was maybe in her 16, 17-year-old, something like that. And how long have you been cooking? Have you always loved to cook, even as a child? You see, I'm smiling. My grandmother always had me in the kitchen when she was cooking. Always had me in the kitchen. That's where I learned the Ethiopian part and the Creole part of the dishes that I serve and I cook. And I also got some of my cooking from my stepfather that my mom married after I was born. He was a really great guy. He's ex-Marine. And I guess cooking was his release. So he would always bring me in the kitchen and show me different spices and different ways to cook things. And he also loved to grill. That was my favorite time spending with him.
Okay.
Because I love to grill.
This is the time for grilling too.
Yeah, definitely. So he taught me a lot of different ways to grill and a lot of different sauces and spices to use. So, and then, there's my grandmother on my dad's side that she does a lot of southern cooking. She's from Texas. So they do a lot of deep fried stuff.
Okay. Like what?
Like fried chicken. They do like a southern fried steak and things of that nature, and hot water cornbread. Lots of those kind of southern comfort foods. So I learned a lot from her as well.
How do you manage to keep your weight down around all that food?
Well, there was one point in time where I did blow up pretty big.
Okay.
But I think I just kind of balanced it with exercising and lowering some of my portions, knowing that, you know, maybe I shouldn't have that third or fourth piece of chicken. Maybe I should leave that for someone else.
Knowing that if I eat it, I got to pay for it.
Right. That's
by
the thing.
exercising.
And do I have enough time to burn it off? So yeah.
So sometimes it's worth it.
Yeah,
it's worth it. It's worth it.
Definitely.
We want our viewers to know that they can call you and ask you a question about Ethiopian and Creole and Southern African American food, or just Southern food, at 459-4881. So when you were in the kitchen, let's say with your grandmother, because unfortunately your grandfather was killed.
Yes, he was walking home from work one day. He was about 7 blocks away from his home, and he was run over by a truck
Sorry to hear that.
and
That's
left
very
there.
sad.
They didn't find out until a day later what had happened.
Okay.
But
It was a hit and run then?
basically, yeah.
Oh.
And I guess they just never talked about it after that. So I didn't really get a lot of information about my grandfather aside from what I've already, told you. But he was a really great guy. And my grandmother, she had me in the kitchen a lot. Like after that, I guess.
Would she tell you stories about him?
Yes, she did. She
Okay.
told me stories about how my uncles used to act like when they got out of line. I don't know if I can say this on television, but he had a pretty powerful hand. But down in Mississippi, most men did at that time because they used their hands to do a lot of the work. So
Right.
when he got with you, you knew you got with.
Okay,
You knew you
okay.
had it.
A strong correction.
Right. He was a
Okay.
man that didn't play any games.
Okay. Okay. Well, with 13 kids, he had to
Yeah.
be serious.
Yeah.
And what were some of the things that your grandmother, the stories your grandmother would tell you about where she came from in the
There were a
South?
lot of folklore stories, like very rich histories about different. Back at that time, there were a lot of people that got hung and things. So they would tell us stories about walking through the woods and actually seeing someone hanging from a tree. There was this one story where they went out to the well to get water because they used well water. And so as they were approaching the well, they saw a rabbit. So they're thinking that the rabbit is just a little tiny rabbit. I don't know how true this story is, but this is what was told to me.
Okay.
So as the rabbit gets larger and larger and larger, and finally they just all run in the house. So it's kind of those kind of folklore stories that keep
That entertain you.
Yeah, just to
Especially
entertain
as a
us.
child and
Yeah.
everything like that. And were there some things that she told you that helped you to become the independent, strong woman that you are today?
Yeah, because of my rich history, my grandfather and my grandmother would always tell us we came from kings and queens. And we should behave as such and never allow anyone to make us feel less than what we are, less than who we are. Because they were such hard workers, they instilled in us to be hard workers. They made us understand that anything and everything that we want in life, we're going to have to work for it. No one's going to give it to us. And you have to be strong enough to bear the burden, to bear the cross. So, and they were very religious people. So then they taught us a lot about God and, things of that nature. So those are the types of things that made me and molded me as a child to who I am now.
And how does faith affect you in your business today? Your faith.
Since I've gone out on this limb to build my own business, I have started putting my faith a lot more in God. I've learned not to worry about certain things like I used to, like how am I going to do this or how is that going to happen. I've learned to focus more on what's at hand and not let the things that I can't see bother me. Like, no worries, it's going to work out. As long as you trust in him and you know that he's got your back, you'll be fine. And he's gotten me this far, so I believe he's going to take me the rest of the way.
And it always works out, doesn't it?
It always does.
And a lot of times we don't know how.
Right.
Well, how in the world did this show up just when I needed it?
Yeah.
When I didn't think it was going to happen or didn't know how it was going to happen. But that's not our business.
Right. And we have to learn to understand that too. You know, we have to learn to understand that there's just some things we just don't need to understand. We don't need to know. He told us that he'll give us everything we need to know in time. We just need to be patient. And that's the problem. A lot of us don't have very much patience.
Right.
I know I don't.
And then we have to be sure to thank God for what he has done for us and to also give him the credit.
Yes.
And give him all the glory
Yes.
because it wasn't us. We didn't do it on our own. And a lot of times people think that way, especially when they start getting more and more successful. Then they think, I did that all by myself.
Right. And it's like, yeah, okay. I'll let you live with that thought. You know, it's your story. I'll let you tell it.
And then when you think that high, then a lot of times you're going to fall.
Right.
You're going to
Definitely.
fall.
It happens all the time.
You're going to fall. Who encouraged you when you said, well, I'm going to start Purple Blaze? Who encouraged you to do that?
My cousin encouraged me to do it, actually. There were events that led up to that, but my cousin encouraged me to pursue it. And she just was non-failing, so adamant about it. There were days where I got so upset with her, like trying to create a certain dish, and she was just like, you gotta do it, you gotta keep doing it, you gotta keep trying. And there were days where I was just like, I wish she would stop. But then, you know, as I focused more and more and just practiced more and more and calmed down a bit and really started structuring myself, I understood where she was coming from. So I would have to say she was my encourager, and also my mother. Now that's my biggest encourager. She was just on me all the time. My mom just kind of laid back about it, like, yeah, sure. She has that nonchalant way of saying, if you don't do it, I'm gonna have a problem with you. I'm not gonna just tell you that, but I'm just gonna put it out there just a little bit. I hope you catch it, you know. But I got your back. You know?
Catch the hint.
Yeah, she's smooth Southern style with it.
I'm not telling
know?
you what to do, but you better do it.
Right. Yeah, just like that, in that order. So yeah, she's my biggest supporter, and my cousin is my encourager.
So when you get in your kitchen, what do you do? How do you start experimenting with things?
I just I think about the dishes that I have created and some of the things that I've seen, and then I think about how can I fuse those two together to make this dish that I want. Like, how do I do that? Like, what kind? And then I'm really big on trying to use fresh fruits and veggies and meats and stuff. So
that's real important.
yeah, so I'm like, okay, I got one thing is like, okay, I got this squash over here, I got some cilantro over here, and I've got this pepper over here and that meat over there. Let's chop some stuff up real quick. And I love chopping. So I chop it up and throw it in the pan, and next thing you know, it's a beautiful dish.
Okay.
It's a
So
beautiful
now
dish.
you have children. Are they your taste testers?
They definitely are my biggest taste tester.
How old are they?
My oldest son is 12 years old. He'll be 13 this year. And he has a scholarship to MSU. Woo.
Yay, already? Wow,
Yeah.
that's good.
And my youngest son, he is in 3rd grade honors classes.
Yeah, all right.
He's 8.
Okay,
So
They cook
together,
with you.
They both cook with me. Oldest son, he grills a lot with me, only because I'd rather not have my 8-year-old on the grill.
okay.
And then my 8-year-old actually bakes a lot with me. That's my baker. But together, they both are my taste testers.
That's good. And sometimes I would imagine when mom is tired that you don't have anything to worry about. They can
No.
get in that kitchen and take care of business.
Definitely. My youngest son, he's the worst though, because what he'll do is I say, Jeremiah, can you taste this? And he'll say, yeah, Mom. And then he'll taste it and he'll say, hey, I need some more salt. Or he'll go, there's something missing from that, Mom. So he's very specific and detailed. At 8 years old, he knows what he
Wow.
likes.
So they've developed their taste buds already
Yeah.
to be professional cooks.
Yeah,
to help mom with Purple Blaze.
definitely. They will be working on the food.
Okay, good,
They will
good,
be working.
good. Tell us about your proposed food truck. What do you hope to do?
Well, that is the plan, to use most of the money that I'm getting right now. I'm planning and preparing a business plan to present to different investors or people who would like to loan me money or invest, like I said, investments and such. And that's another way I'm planning on funding the food truck. They're not that expensive, but when you think about it, it's a lot less than a building, but it's still kind of pricey though. So.
And so then what goes into that? What kind of things do you have to plan for and prepare for?
Well, right now there's some issues with licensing, and I've gotten together with Mayor Bliss to discuss those issues. Also, there's the president of the Food Truck Association, Brendan Sommers. I work on his food truck right now. It's called A Movable Feast. We've discussed a lot of issues with the licensing. Tara Davis from Daddy Pete's. There's just, you know, you can only park so many areas, and then, you know, those are far and few in between. And then you have to have a license. I forget the name of the license, but it costs $1,900, and you can only park in food places, and a lot of those areas don't want you to park there because they're afraid you're going to steal their business.
Okay.
So then, you know, you have to have the license to sell, and you have to have a license to cook. It's like there's so much red tape right now.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So we're counting on Mayor Bliss
All right.
at some point that maybe she can loosen up those licensings, and it would be a lot easier and a lot more profitable for us to make money.
Okay. Now, are most food trucks downtown?
Most food trucks are downtown, but they do travel elsewhere.
Okay.
To certain events, graduations, wedding parties, to such. They do move around a lot, but again, you know, there's only so many places you can go. You know.
Okay. Let's get back to the Ethiopian food. What makes food Ethiopian, and what does that consist of?
What makes food Ethiopian is the spices. Ethiopian food by nature is it's spicy, it's hot,
Okay. It's hot.
filled with pepper and flavor, and I think that's why it mixes so well with the Creole, because a lot of their food is spicy, and there's never a dull moment when you're eating their food, and that's what makes it what it is. That's what makes it pop. And there's a lot of soups that they combine together and they put in, and it's just, I don't know, it just has such a rich flavor to it, such a rich texture, where it's, I don't know, it's just delicious.
Now, there was a specific spice that you mentioned before
yes.
the show, Marsala, or what kind of Marsala was that?
It's called tikka marsala.
Uh-huh.
I use it in some of my dishes, as well with other spices as well. And tikka marsala is very hot. It is hot. Like, if you put more than a tablespoon of that in your food, you're gonna need some milk or water.
You're gonna be on fire.
Yeah, you're gonna
about to
need
be
it
on fire.
because it's that spicy.
Okay. And do you find that people are learning more about different foods and different cultures?
I think that particularly here in Grand Rapids, that they're being more open-minded to different ethnicities and different foods. I've talked to a lot of people about the Ethiopian Southern cuisine fusion, and a lot of them are ready to try it. They're like, that is something I have never heard before, especially here in Grand Rapids, and I would love to try that. And that's what really kept me going, like, hey, this is something new that I've just decided I'm gonna do. Let's keep that moving. So, yeah, as far as that, I think, yeah, people are getting to know more different cultures, more ethnicities, different foods from those cultures and ethnicities. It's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing. And we're talking about Purple Blaze, which is the business that Miss Joanna Brown is the owner and creator of. And we're going to take a break, but when we come back, I want to find out, how did you get the name Purple Blaze, and find out more about that history and the t-shirt that you're wearing as soon as we come back from our break. And want to let you know that you are watching Time to Talk, and we're live today on this Wednesday, May 25th, and almost Memorial Day. So we want to say hello to everybody who served, and also remember those who gave their lives. Because we won't be here Memorial Day, but we want to say that in recognition of those who certainly deserve it. Well, you're watching Time to Talk. I'm R.G. Holloman. We'll be right back.
You're watching Time to Talk with R.G. Holloman on GRTV.
Welcome back to Time to Talk with R.G. Holloman. Here's R.G.
Hello, welcome back to Time to Talk. We have one more live show of the season, which is on Wednesday, June 8th my actual birthday, a national holiday. Oh, okay. It's a national holiday to me and to my family, but anyway. But so we're going to be here for that birthday show, and we're going to have a wonderful time. You don't want to miss it. Now, it's not our last show forever. It's just our last show for the season. Then come September, we will be going into our 29th year here on GRTV and WKTV Comcast 25. And we thank you so much for watching and supporting us all that time. We really appreciate it. And we want to continue with our guest today, Joanna Brown, who is the owner creator of Purple Blaze Catering. And you can give her a call if you would like to. Her family has a background of Ethiopian Creole and Southern cooking. And so she's brought that together and has that here and is sharing that with all of us and just telling us more about it. She's going to have a food truck coming up in the near future. And right now we're just talking about that history of the food, because food does have a history. And a lot of times you don't know where things come from or why or what's their meaning. And so we're finding out more about that today. Now, tell us about the name Purple Blaze. How did you come up with that name?
Purple Blaze came from my grandmother. We both love the color purple, even the movie.
And the movie, okay.
So we both love the color purple, and my first car I bought was purple, so that was exciting, and I shared that with her. And she called me one day. We were talking because we used to talk all the time, like every day. There was no day that went by we did not talk to each other. And she called me one day and she told me, I got a secret for you. And I said, what is it? Do I need to come over there and see it? Because she lived in Baltimore, Maryland. She's like, no, I'll show it to you in time. So when I found out that she was passing, we ended up going there to Baltimore, Maryland. She passed away while I was there.
Yes, sir.
And I found out that she had painted her whole room purple.
Wow. Okay, awesome.
So that's where the purple comes from. Because I love my grandmother. She's like the sweetest lady. And for her to have done that for me was very special. So that's my dedication to her.
That is awesome. We're talking to Joanna Brown, owner and creator of Purple Blaze Catering. We have a caller on the line, and if you'd like to call, our lines are open. 459-4881. Hello, caller, are you there?
Hi, Archie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
All right, I'm fine. You have a question or a comment for Miss Joanna?
Yeah, I was just kind of wondering, with Ethiopian cuisine, like, where would you source the different ingredients that you would need for that? Do you see yourself working with, like, the farm-to-table movement in Grand Rapids? I know a lot of local different restaurants are working with the kind of farm-to-table movement right now, so just kind of had a question about that.
That's a great question, and I'm glad you asked that, caller. We plan to source all of, 100%, if not most, of our ingredients and spices that we use right here in Grand Rapids. This is why I'm working with the Food Truck Association, because we want to be locally grown, everything that we use 100%. The point is that we give back to Grand Rapidians. The point is that we keep funding our own people here in our own city where we work, live, and play. So there are some places that I've already utilized. There's a place on 28th Street. It's called Spice of India. And that's some of the places I get some of my seasonings, although I'm not going to tell you which ones.
Oh, come on.
But so, yes, we use Spice of India. There's a couple other places that we use. Saigon Market has great vegetables and great spices, and I use them quite frequently. So yeah, those are the types of things when I mean locally grown and locally sourced. We want to make sure that the money continues to flow back here in Grand Rapids so we can sponsor our younger children in hopes that we can help them bring some of their dreams to life and come true.
Thank you, caller. We
Thank you.
appreciate you calling with that great question. And if you have a great question or a wonderful positive comment, give us a call at 616-459-4881. It is important to shop local, to buy local, to hire local whenever you can, isn't it?
Definitely. It is. It is very extremely important because right now, there's a shortage of employment. There's a shortage of, food pricing that's reasonable. So in order for us to bring those things down and actually make it viable for people to live and work and play, we have to price our foods reasonably. We have to make sure that people in our city have employment. And by doing that, we have to utilize the places in our city. If we keep outsourcing employment and jobs and foods, then there's nothing left for the people that's here. So we have to bear that in mind when we're out doing what we're doing.
Exactly. We have another caller on the line, Miss Joanna. Hello, caller, are you there?
I'm really enjoying your show, as I always do.
Thank
I
you.
do have a question for your guest, Joanna.
Okay. What's your question?
And my question is, what are the main spices, if you can tell that, in your dishes, your Ethiopian dishes and your Creole dishes?
I can't reveal all of my spices, caller.
Come on. We keep pulling for those spices.
You guys keep on pulling for it. Like, okay, I'll give you one more. There's paneer, tikka paneer. I used a lot of that.
Is that spicy?
It is spicy.
Okay.
It is definitely spicy. And one other thing I use is a Cajun seasoning, although I make the Cajun seasoning myself. So that is something I cannot truly give away.
Okay.
But those are the kind of spices that I use to create my Ethiopian Creole dishes.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much for your call. And do you suggest that people get in their kitchens and just sometimes throw some spices together to see how they come out?
Definitely. That's the best part of cooking and being a cook is trying different spices, trying different vegetables, trying different fruits, trying fruits with vegetables, trying meat with fruit.
Right.
I mean, it's
Exactly.
such an exotic world when it comes to cooking that you can never just be done,
Right. And it's important not to be afraid. A lot of times I
Yeah.
get in the kitchen, I'm like, well, what would happen if I put this in there?
Hey.
Put some peaches in there, some pears in this salad or whatever. And a lot of times it's really, really good.
Yeah.
It's not bad or anything. So, but it's important to try. And then I had something that was interesting about spicy food. Back in 2007, when I got my kidney transplant, it was from a person who had passed away that I didn't know, and they flew it up from Indiana. But I found this need to eat spicy food at the
Right.
time. For a long, long time, I was like, the hotter the better. And his dad had wrote me and told me that, he liked spicy food. I was like, wow, isn't that interesting? Yeah, I'm in need of a kidney again. I can't handle spicy food now, but I don't know if the next person is going to be a spicy food eater. Whatever they are, I'm okay with it. Whatever God gives me, I'm all right with that. But
I'll
that
try
was
to lessen the
interesting.
spice for you.
Yeah, hold the spice, but let me know what it was in it. It's like, Miss Joanna, now what was that spice you put in there again?
Right, and I'll say, I'll
Right,
fix it for you.
right. Do you do any vegetarian meals at all?
I do, actually. The collard green, the Ethiopian collard greens, that's one of our best-selling veggie dishes, right? Vegetarian dishes right now.
How do you season it if you don't use meat? Another secret?
It involves a lot of we actually cook the vegetables together first.
Okay.
Before we put the collard greens in,
Okay.
because that mesh and flavor of all of that kind of
Okay.
gets into the greens, and then we slowly stir in the the Ethiopian seasoning as we cook it. So
Okay.
that's how we do it without the actual meat, and it turns
and
out
you don't
pretty
even miss the
awesome.
meat at all.
Nope.
Wow, that's amazing. We have another caller, Miss Joanna. We're talking to Joanna Brown. She's the owner and creator of Purple Blaze Catering. Soon to have a food truck, a mobile food truck. We claimed that for you, and well on her way. So we're going to go to the phones right now, Joanna. We're getting a lot of good questions. So caller, and we want our other viewers to know who are watching, 459-4881 is our number. We're live today on this Wednesday, May 25th. Let's go to the phones now. Hi, caller, are you there?
Yes, this is
Okay.
Barbara. How are you?
Okay, how are you?
First, RJ, I want to say that I really enjoy your show, Time to Talk.
Thank you.
My question for your guest, Joanna, is you said you use various spices to make your vegetarian collard greens. Can you tell me a little bit about those spices you use?
We're back on those spices. Now you
You're
got to
still
reveal
not
one
giving
more.
up those ingredients.
You got to reveal one by one. Not all of them, just another one. Because you were talking about vegetables, and then so what are those vegetables and what are those spices?
I'll tell you the vegetables that we use for
Okay.
the Ethiopian collard greens. We use green peppers, we use red peppers, we use sweet peppers, we use purple onions because why not? It's Purple Blaze.
Okay.
We use purple squash or or turnip bottoms, and the latest one that we did, we used the turnip bottoms. So, and the spices that we use, like I said, we use the tikka marsala, and we use the tikka pernir, and we will use a Cajun seasoning. So those are 3,
Okay.
and that's it.
Okay.
Well, thank
okay.
you for those 3. Now, here's a question. Me and my daughters were sitting here listening to your show, and you made mention that you make hot water cornbread. Can you tell your listeners, for those who don't know, what's the difference between hot water cornbread and cornbread that's, made with buttermilk?
That's a
Oh,
good
that
question
is-
because I don't know that one either.
The
Because they're
water.
both Southern, and a lot of people don't know what hot water cornbread is.
Yeah, I've heard of that, but I don't know if I've had. I don't think I've had it.
It's made with water.
That's it.
That's
And
the
cornmeal,
difference. And cornmeal. And
Okay.
butter.
and you put it on the griddle.
And you put it on there and it cooks. That is the difference.
That's it.
That's pretty much it. At least from what I understand from how my family make it. Now, I might be wrong. Those Southerners might be getting upset with me right now. Like, what is she talking about? But I
Well,
know
my-
specifically.
My mom used to make it, and she made it with cornmeal, hot water,
Yep.
salt
Yep.
What was
to
the last
taste,
thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Coffee.
I should say, and
Okay.
she would fry it in a vegetable oil till it's
Yes.
crispy.
Some people use bacon fat though because it gives it a more richer flavor. And it
I've
kinda
had it
takes
before,
away
and I
that.
put seasoning salt in it.
Yeah,
Give it
see?
a flavor.
See?
Okay.
See?
That's different.
Yeah.
I have to try that one. I have to try that. I like to
Definitely.
experiment, so I have to try that one, caller.
Well,
both
thank
ways.
you for sharing.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Thank
Have
you.
a good day.
Thank you very much. Now, with your collard greens, what kind of broth do you cook those in? Do you cook those in water, or do you use a broth at all?
We don't use a broth with the collard greens only because I feel that the broth kind of takes away from the vegetables.
Okay.
And the meshing that it does with the collard greens.
Okay.
So I don't necessarily use a broth. I let it cook and simmer in its own juices.
How long do you let it simmer?
I would say this last one I did. Normally, if I'm just doing for me and my family, I would do like an hour tops.
With the top on it?
Yeah, with the top on it. Maybe a little less than that, depending on how fast I need it to be cooked. It's always done though.
Okay. It's always
But
done.
Yeah, so the last dish I did, we had to do that for a couple hours, like 2 hours, because there was like enough for like 200 people.
Oh,
so
okay.
it just
So it's a
varies.
lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just varies depending on how much you're cooking.
Okay, okay. And then you just did an event for a nonprofit. Tell us
Yes.
about that.
I just did a vending for the Well House. For the executive director, Tammy Vandenberg, invited us there. Big shout out to Team Well House for having us. It was very exciting. It was one of our first experiences vending. It went really well. There are some things I'd like to tweak and maybe change for the next time we have an event like that. But other than that, it went exceptionally well.
What did you serve?
We serve beef tibs, which is an Ethiopian it's an Ethiopian soup, but it's like beef stew. The difference is it's richer than a stew. It's a
Is
lot
that
richer, a little
oxtails or
thicker.
something, or
No,
what
no,
is
no.
it?
It's
What-
beef stewing meat,
Okay,
but it's prepared differently.
okay,
And it's thicker than stew.
Okay.
Stew has a kind of a light consistency. This is thicker, way thicker than that.
Okay.
And coincidentally, that sold quicker than what I thought it was. That was
Okay.
our best seller.
Oh, okay.
And then we had Cajun ribs. Those went pretty well too.
No, what did you put on those? I know, the spices.
The
right?
Cajun spice.
But what is that like? Does it have a sauce
hot.
or it's
It's
spicy?
a sweet kind of hot flavor.
Okay.
That's
and
what it
did you
is.
use ribs with that? Like
Yeah,
pork
those were the
ribs or
ribs.
beef ribs? Or?
We used pork ribs
Okay.
for that. Yep. We used the baby back and the shoulder, I believe. I'm not exactly sure. I can't remember, but we definitely used baby back ribs in that one. Yeah, and then we had the Ethiopian collard greens that I just described, and we had goulash, southern goulash. A
what
lot of
is
people
that?
like that. It's prepared different. That has a kind of spicier taste to it. It's got a lot of veggies like bell peppers, green peppers, and hamburger meat, and it's just the different spices that are put into it that makes it a little more southerny than your regular goulash. And it's served hot, not cold.
Okay, all right. Excuse me. And what's the southern cooking that you do?
The southern cooking that I do like fried chicken. We do like roasts, stuff like that, and the spices that we use. We do dishes like potatoes, roasted potatoes, things like that. Those are just some of the dishes that we've been playing around with doing. I'm actually thinking about presenting some new dishes for our next catering
Oh,
that
like what?
involves lamb.
It involves lamb. Different.
So be looking out for that.
Be ready, you lamb lovers, be ready. Okay, let's go to the phones again, Miss Joanna. You're getting a lot of good calls today.
I am.
People are excited, I believe, and happy for you. Our lines are open, 459-4881. Hello, caller, are you there?
Yes. My name is Louise,
Okay.
and I called earlier, and I was kind of disconnected, but I have two other questions.
Oh, great. What's your
And I
question,
like to
Louise?
say to Joanne, I really love her spirit, and I'm really enjoying the show.
Thank
so
you.
my question is that what is the future events that you would like to participate in? What is your goal?
Oh, great question. What
That is a great
your
question.
goal? Yes.
The next event we would like to vend at is the farmers market for our kitchen table.
Oh,
I've been
okay.
speaking and having some conversations with the director of that.
Great
and
program.
Yes, definitely great program. She would like for Purple Blaze to come and do a vending there. So that would be our goal for our next catering event. Also, I would like to do a demo cooking with them or possibly with Miss Holloman whenever we have time, whenever she has time or they have time.
Oh, I always got time to eat. Just like we got time to talk, we got time to eat.
So that would be my next goal, is to at least line up that vending event and possibly partner with the Well House again for their harvest party and do a vending for them there.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
And, yeah, what's your next question, Miss Louise?
And my last question is, and not asking about your spices, but what dish best shows your creativity? And is there special dishes that you have come up with outside of the traditional dishes in the European, Creole, and Southern foods?
I would say my best dish, and it's something that I just right off top, is one of my newer creations. It's a Creole sauteed shrimp, and it involves lots of veggies like squash. I put some almond in there, some purple onions, and it's just mixed up real lightly and lightly sauced with over a bed of rice. So I would have to say that would be one of my best creations, and that's one of our newer dishes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for your call. And there were those two great questions. So do you bake at all?
I do bake.
Okay, tell us your favorite dishes that you like to bake.
I have baked a peanut butter brittle cake,
Ooh,
and that went over really well.
ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, that
did-
sounds so good.
I didn't take any home.
Oh, I bet. You probably didn't get your container back.
It was it's where you take the peanuts, you crush them up really fine, you put them in the bottom of the pan. I make the cake from scratch too, and I'm not giving away that.
Okay. Wow.
But I will give away the peanut butter. You crush them up real fine. You make the cake. You put it in, and you let it cook for about 35, 40 minutes roughly. You take it back out. You plop it over. You got the brittle on top, and you melt the icing down and drizzle it on top, and you got peanut brittle cake.
Ooh, sounds good. Now, when it comes to baking, sometimes when you have a cake, then it's a nice cake, but it comes out uneven. How do you make it even and pretty?
My Aunt Vernell taught me something a long time ago. She taught me what you do is you put oil on the outside of the pan. You sprinkle the inside with flour. You shake the pan up and make sure the flour gets around the entire pan. And then you pour the cake on the inside. And once you pour the cake on the inside, you shake the cake while it's on the inside to make sure that it cooks evenly. So that's the secret.
Oh, now at least we got one good secret out of you. I am definitely going to try that one. And tell us about grilling. You like to grill. Your sons like to grill. Tell us about some of the things that you grill and the secret to grilling, especially with chicken, knowing when that is done.
The secret to grilling is practice, 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 practice. Because trust me, you're not going to get it the first time, nor the second time, nor the third time. Grilling is, if you want to believe it or not, it's an art. It is a definite art, because you have some people that grill and they like their grilling extra crispy. Some people don't like it crispy. Some people like it moist. Some people, it's just so many different ways to grill. And that's why it's such an art, you know, and you can't learn it overnight. It's something that you have to constantly keep doing, and you have to constantly work at. And then you have to find out what type of griller you are. Like, am I the type of griller that does like crispy? Like, do I like to cook that kind of stuff on the grill, you know? And then unless you're going to stand there with a thermometer the whole time you cook, which I don't know anybody that really does, that's the only way you're going to know that it's done for sure. That's why I say practice, 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 practice. And once you get that down to a science, you'll know when it's done. You won't even have to think twice about it. You'll just look at it and say, oh, that's done. Let's take that off.
Do you get involved in sauces, like barbecue sauces and other sauces for maybe pastas or different things like that?
I have made my own sauces in the past. I still do. So, yeah, I make my own barbecue sauces. I make my own sauces, like I explained earlier, that went over the sauteed shrimp. I make those sauces. A lot of the stuff, a lot of barbecue sauces and stuff that I do use in my dishes are made. I make them myself. They're far and few between where I buy them from the store already made.
Okay. Do you write your recipes down, or you just have them in your head?
Most of them I write down. Some of them I have them in my head because I've been doing them for so long, and it's like repetition. So now it's like I don't need to write that recipe down because I already know what it is. It probably would be good for me too, just in case my boys want to use it when they get older. Like they get married and like, hey, honey, can you make this recipe for me?
Pass it down through the generations.
Right.
Yes. What have you? Tell us about your shirt.
Oh, my shirt, Purple Blaze. Just want to make sure you guys see it. It's a phoenix rising out of the ashes. And I chose that because, like I said, after my grandmother passed away and us being so close, that made me realize what my passion was. It gave me that, what do you call it, reason in life, you know, to live and be and exist, you know.
Right.
I love to cook. This is what I love to do. And spending all this time trying to figure it out, and now I know. And it was just like, at that moment, I felt like I was a phoenix rising out of the ashes, because at this point, I'm ready to pursue my passion. I know what it is now, and I'm going to go for it, and I'm not going to let anyone stop me.
All right, all right. Talk about finding your passion, because you're an inspiration to other young women as well.
Finding your passion, it takes some internal soul searching. Like, you're gonna go through some things. It's not gonna happen overnight, but you have to be willing to take those bumps and those bruises, and you have to be willing to make those sacrifices in order to know who you are and what you want. Because people can spend a lifetime going through the motions and not really knowing what they want out of life and what they want to do. You have to do some internal soul searching. You have to get in a place where you're by yourself, you're focused, and you're listening to your own thoughts, because our thoughts can be our worst enemy. And when you start to focus on you and focus on those thoughts and those things that you're telling yourself, that's when you can start to say, okay, these are the things I want, these are the things I don't want. This is what I want to hear, this is what I don't want to hear. And then you can start to control those things, you know?
Excuse me. What else would you like us to know about Purple Blaze?
That it's awesome. No.
All right.
That it's totally awesome.
Yes.
I would just like people to know that Purple Blaze, whenever you see it, it is a sign of strength. It is a sign of encouragement. It is a sign that anything and everything that you want to be, as long as it's not dangerous or hurting anyone.
right. Or anybody else, or hurting anybody else.
Right. You know, you can do it. It is possible. And just go for it. And it'll happen. And make sure you leave everything on the shelf. Don't take any worries or burdens with you. Leave it all on the shelf and just go for what you want and have faith.
Is there anybody you want to send a shout out to?
I like to send a shout out to Lenny Lewis, my mom, I love you. My sons, Christian Sally and Jeremiah Lockridge. I like to send a shout out to Marquand Nelson, who is my boyfriend, and I love him. He's so awesome. And I would like to say thank you to my family for being such an extreme inspiration in my life and helping me to get to this point where Purple Blaze is us, this is our family, and this is our legacy. Thank you.
All right. And when we see that food truck, what are you going to have on it?
I'm going to have the picture of this huge phoenix.
Okay.
And it's going to say Purple Blaze.
And who designed that for you?
Cassie McCarthy from Citizen Shirts.
Okay.
Awesome girl. She is my marketing and graphic designer, and she has been doing wonderful. She's created my shirts. We have aprons, we have business cards, we have a poster. She is totally awesome, and she's been here. She's here today.
All
Thanks,
right.
Cassie. We
All
love
right,
you.
Cassie. All right, Cassie. All right. And I'm sure that if people want to contact you, what kind of events do you do?
I do catering. I can do weddings, or I'm not really big on the weddings right now. I want to kind of work on graduations, maybe small parties or something small right now, and then we'll work up to the bigger events. So if you have any graduation parties or small events that you need catering for, we're open for business.
Okay. And how do people get in contact with you?
You can contact us via email, which is joannabrown64@gmail.com, or you can hit us up or like us on Facebook. The name is Purple Blaze, or you can call 616-272-0268.
And would you like to encourage people to try something new?
I would like to encourage people to go to the Spice of India and pick up at least one thing from there. One. If you want more, but at least try one.
Okay. And then they have to figure out for themselves which one.
Yes.
And I'm sure the people there are more than happy to let them know this is spicy, this is mild, this is sweet or
They're very
savory
friendly
or,
people.
or what it might be.
Very friendly. I think they would like to see more people coming in there, more people that are not of Indian, because it's mainly an Indian store. So I think they would like to see more people coming of their different ethnicities and different cultures, trying their food. It would make them feel like, hey, we're doing something out here. So definitely, try the Spice of India.
And tell them Purple Blaze sent you.
Right, and tell them Purple Blaze sent you.
Well, we certainly are grateful that you could come today, and the next time that you come, then we want to check out some of those items, and we didn't have time to do that today, but we definitely want to try some Ethiopian, some Southern food, and some Creole food.
Yes, ma'am.
All of the above.
Yes,
all
ma'am.
of the above. So we want to thank you so much for being with us on Time to Talk, and wish you all the very, very best.
Thank you, Ms. Holloman, for having us.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Okay, and thank you for watching, and be sure to watch us again on Wednesday, June 8th. We're with you every 2 weeks, every second and fourth Wednesday up until June 8th, and then we'll take a summer break. You need a break, we need a break. Let's all take a break, and we'll hopefully be back, Lord's willing, second week of September. But don't forget, June 8th, tune in to Time to Talk on GRTV and WKTV, Comcast Cable 25. You've been watching Time to Talk. I'm R.G. Holloman.
Thank you for watching tonight's edition of Time to Talk with R.G. Holloman on GRTV Grand Rapids and WKTV Wyoming Kentwood.